One of the most exciting things that you can do with your photos is to combine them. If you want to combine multiple photos into a blended composite that looks like it came straight from your camera, you'll need to use Photoshop. So in this video, I'll show you how to bring multiple photos from Lightroom into a single layered file in Photoshop and blend them together in Photoshop. Before I take the two photos that I have here in my film strip over to Photoshop to combine them, I went ahead and made some adjustments to this landscape photo in Lightroom's Develop module. You can see the difference those adjustments made if I press the / key on my keyboard to display a before and an after view. Now let's take this adjusted landscape photo and this photo of a moon from Lightroom into Photoshop. I'd like to do that in a way that automatically puts both photos into one file in Photoshop, because that will save me from having to combine images manually in Photoshop. So I'll select both photos in Lightroom. I have one selected already. I'll hold the Shift key and click on the other. And then I'll right-click either of the selected photos, and I'll choose Edit In. And this time, instead of choosing Edit in Adobe Photoshop, I'll use one of the extra options that are available in this part of the menu when you have multiple photos selected in Lightroom. And that's the Open as Layers in Photoshop option. And that switches me over to Photoshop, where there's one document open that includes both photos. If you take a look over at the Layers panel, you'll see that there are two layers in this file. The mountain photo is on the top layer, and the moon photo is on the bottom layer. I'd like to switch the order of these layers so that the moon layer is on top of the mountain layer. So I'll select the moon layer in the Layers panel, and then I'll click, hold, and drag on that layer until I see a border just above the mountain layer, and then I'll release my mouse. The moon is obviously too big for the other photo, so with the moon layer selected, I'll go up to the Edit menu, and I'll choose Free Transform. That adds this bounding box with anchor points around the moon photo. I'll hold down the Shift key to constrain proportions, and I'll click and drag inward from one of the corner anchor points to make the moon photo smaller. Now I don't have to get this perfect because I can tweak it later. Then I'll click inside of this bounding box and I'll drag to position the moon approximately where I think I'll want it. When I'm done, I'll click the check mark. Now here's where things get really exciting. I want to knock out that black background around the moon. The easiest way is to try to use layer blend modes. So with the moon layer selected in the Layers panel, I'll go up to the Blend Mode menu, the one labeled Normal to start, and I'll click there, and here I see a whole list of blend modes that I could apply to change the way the colors in the moon layer interact with the colors on the mountain layer below. Now, I could just select these one by one, but a faster way to try each one out on a photo is to do this. I'll click off the menu, and then I'll select the Move tool in the Tools panel, and I'll hold the Shift key down as I press the plus key on my keyboard. And as I do, you can see that this menu is changing as I cycle through each blend mode. And on the photo, you can see that each blend mode gives the photo a completely different look. I'd like to move back up the menu, so with the Shift key still selected, I'll press the minus key on my keyboard. And I think this blend mode is giving me the best result. And this happens to be the Lighten Blend mode. Now I want to tweak the size and position of the moon. So again, I'll go to the Edit menu, I'll choose Free Transform, I'll hold the Shift key, and I'll drag inward on one of the corner anchor points. Then I'll click inside the bounding box, and I'll move the moon into position, and I'll click the check mark. The next thing that I want to do is save this file so that it appears back in Lightroom. So I'll go to the File menu, and I'll choose Save. That saves this composite version of the image as a TIFF format file with Edit appended to the file name. I can close this image, and then let's return to Lightroom. Down in the film strip in the Develop module, you can see that I now have 3 photos. This is my original landscape photo with the adjustments that I added in Lightroom. Here's my original moon photo, and here is my composite. So the next time that you're feeling creative, try taking multiple photos from Lightroom to Photoshop to combine them into something new using the techniques that you learned here.